It has been 2 years since my diagnosis of autism, or she specified Asperger's disorder. When I got my official diagnosis, I went through a series of stages, kind of like similar to, how there's stages of grief when you lose someone. Well, I seem to have gone through stages. First, it's unbelief. You don't believe in the diagnosis. You're like shocked, Then it's anger. You feel like you're mad about the diagnosis. And then feelings of acceptance. And then you might go back to anger again and unbelief. I have gone through these stages just over and over. And acceptance is the final stage you want to get to, or you hope to get through during this whole process. For me, I have mostly made it to that point of acceptance, although I do have my days where I don't. So the first decision I had to make after my diagnosis was who to tell about my diagnosis. Who did I want to share this important information with? Well, I only told my immediate family at first because, like I said, I was going through stages of not accepting, not believing, stages of anger. So I was very specific who I shared with, and that was mainly my immediate family. So over the period of these 2 years, I have told more and more people slowly at my own pace. You can go at your own pace. You're on nobody's timeline but your own. So I ended up telling some old friends from high school, ended up telling my coworkers at work that I work closely with. Then it's just spread out from there to like family friends. Have I told everybody in this 2 years? No, I haven't told everybody. But do you feel the need to hide a diagnosis like this, like autism, and why? I feel like the more people we will share it with, the more people will understand, hey, there's more levels of autism than I realized. Hey, there's higher functioning needs to lower functioning needs. There's a whole wide range of people on the spectrum. So if we're sharing our story with other people, I've realized that maybe they'll start to think of, autism differently. Let's talk about how things have changed at work since I've told them about my diagnosis. Now, I know there are some of you that are watching this that probably are working. So, am I glad I told them? Yes, I am. I feel like if I was to ever have a meltdown at work, then they would understand. Now, at my current job, I've been there 2 years, and I haven't had a meltdown on the job like I did my last job. But then also, it helps me not to feel so guilty when they are all eating lunch together and I'm going to my car to eat lunch, because that's how I unwind during the day. I have to have time to myself to keep my energy to make it through the rest of the day. And I feel like because they know, they understand. I also feel like every new employee that comes to work there is probably told of my diagnosis before I tell them. I think everybody knows. And so that's a feeling of not having the power when you feel like other people are telling your story before you are. So that's something I've been thinking on lately. Do I want to be the first person to tell people, or do I want other people to tell them? I have been very blessed to have a boss that is just so accommodating and so understanding. Now, I've never told her I have specific needs, on the job, but she realizes what my strengths and my weaknesses are, and she's able to work with that. All my coworkers have been very kind with me. I haven't experienced any kind of being treated unfairly or people being rude to me. In fact, it's the opposite. They seem to be nice and smiley and always asking me how I'm doing, so it has seemed to be a good thing in my case. Now, I should take it further at work and just tell my boss that I can potentially have a meltdown if an extreme situation happens, and I might also become mute, where I just cannot speak about it in the moment until I'm able to calm down. I would tell her things like that so she's aware in case an emergency happens. Social anxiety wise, it's still a struggle every day to be at work for me. I am just taking my valerian root and magnesium to help calm me down, and it's helped so much because at my last job I didn't take those things as much as I do now, and I was just more of a nervous wreck at work. How have relationships changed for me since the diagnosis? Well, I feel like my mom has been more understanding. She has tried to understand. She's been a listening ear, and we have gotten closer because of it. And she feels like it explains things she didn't understand when I was younger. My dad, the relationship between me and him has stayed about the same. It's been a good relationship. And let's talk about with my children. Has my relationship changed since my diagnosis? That's probably changed the most. My son, he still lacks the understanding about autism, and what I need to do is talk to him more about it. My adult daughter, our relationship has changed for the better, because what I did not realize before my diagnosis was she spent many years thinking her mother was narcissistic, and I was not coming across apparently, how much I love her on the inside. What I felt for her was not coming across to her. Our relationship has been getting better now because she understands I have limitations, but she knows I love her, and I try to make sure I express that to her. I have grandchildren, and my 9-year-old granddaughter does know of my diagnosis. She knows a little bit about it. We did a video, and you can go check that out. I'll link it down below so you can watch that video. How has my relationship with my husband changed? In the 2 years, I feel like I can be even more of myself than before. I feel like he understands me better. Jeff knows when I'm going to have a meltdown now. He knows what it is now, and he knows what he needs to do if I have a meltdown. So it has helped our relationship, I think, to grow. That's been a plus. What have I noticed about myself since getting the diagnosis? I've noticed my autistic traits, for sure. I've noticed how much I stim. So I've just noticed how much I stim when I am anxious. I have a lot of anxiety. I will stim, tap, I'll be tapping. I'll be drawing J's on my hands, rubbing my hands, fiddling with my hair sometimes. I know when I'm headed for a meltdown now, and I know what that is. So I have been able to, I think, ward off some meltdowns just by knowing it was coming and knowing what to do ahead of time. What I have become aware of since my diagnosis is I can't handle having a conversation with someone when other stimuli is going on. If there's a room full of chatter, a room full of noises and things, I can't concentrate on what somebody's saying. I can't process in my mind what they're saying to me. I just draw a blank, and it makes for an awkward situation. But my processing speeds are a lot slower. If someone's trying to give me a lot of information at one time, I can't process it. I have to take time to think about it. What has helped tie this all together for me has been, I would say, having this channel is one of the things. Meeting other people like you, and knowing that there's a community out there of supportive people who understand the behaviors, understand the feelings, who go through it also. That has been one of the biggest benefits for me. The second thing that means a lot to me since the diagnosis is having a consistent counseling session, because I found a counselor that seems to understand autism in women, and she's very understanding. She's very enlightening. She has an outside, unbiased view of helping me see what's going on in my life and how I can address it. It is so helpful to me. I cannot stress enough if you have the opportunity to get a counselor. So what does the future hold for me after the diagnosis? I feel like I will get to the point where I'm comfortable telling anybody and everybody about my diagnosis without even hesitating. I think that's all for this video. I've run out of things to say. I think I've said it all. So if you enjoy watching content about adults with autism, I would love for you to subscribe. Go down there, subscribe, and comment on this video. Be a part of this growing community. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. I hope I will. You are coming back, right? I'll still be here. Bye. You ever buy a shirt and then put it on and wear it and think, man, that's ugly. What was I thinking? Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I'm having today.